Hi, I'm Rick Funk from Funk's Toyota. Our family has been in the automotive business for over 45 years. That's 45 plus years of looking after customers. We have a top worldwide recognized product that we are proud to be a partner with Toyota Canada. Every new and used vehicle is negotiable when it comes to purchasing your vehicle here at Funk's Toyota. Our staff of many years is very knowledgeable and will help you, not force you with your buying decision. There are no hidden fees and no pressure tactics. Not only that, we promise what we deliver and have one of the best used vehicle warranties in the business. Our staff love to serve and you will feel like family after your first visit. We are not perfect, but we love to please here at Funk's Toyota. For those of you that have experienced our Funk's Toyota family way, please share it with others and like us and share us on Facebook. We are proud to be a sponsor of the Manitoba Amateur Sports. Visit us online at www.funks.toyota.ca.
And welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Bell MTS Iceplex in Winnipeg, Manitoba, Canada, for the first ever, the inaugural Manitoba Sports Desk, brought to you by Funk's Toyota, along the Manitoba Sports Network. Of course, wherever you are, whenever you do, we always thank you. My name is Rory McGoran, alongside my desk partner tonight. Do we call it inaugural? So we're going to have to start making stuff up as we fly. Theo Technicolor, ladies and gentlemen.
We switched sides for this thing, only to cause a little confusion for everyone watching at home. Usually Rory's on my side and I'm on the other side, but today we're switching it up just to cause a little bit of confusion. Nonetheless, thanks for joining us on the Manitoba Sports Network. Rory, what could we say? Where do we want to start off with here?
Well, we have plenty of segments. We have interviews with Eric Vincent with Football Manitoba. We have the co-president of Steinbach Hockey talking about Miller Days, which is a great event that's going on in Steinbach today. We're going to have someone come in and talk about the Central Plains organization. So a jam-packed show with a lot of interviews, but let's start off the first segment here with Senior Men's Hockey League, and we have a few leagues to break down in this quick segment. So we'll start off with the Southeastern Manitoba Hockey League with the games earlier this week. There was a game on Tuesday and a game on Thursday. A lot to come later on this weekend. Tuesday, Carman beats last place Winkler 5-1. Carman moves past Morden into third place, so a swing in the standings there with 17 points. Still 9 points behind first place Notre Dame. Aaron Lewidnuck picked up 4 assists.
A man with a lot of helpers, understanding the team effort here. I mean, back when you were a kid, I don't know, Roy, if you remember, you're always told an assist is worth almost as much as a goal. And for Aaron, 4 assists on the night. I was told double. You were told double. Yeah. I was told double, too. And, I mean, 4 assists on the night, definitely finding the open man, realizing he was getting a little more heat on the ice as opposed to his counterparts, his other teammates, passing the puck really well. Good job on the victory. We also had another game on Thursday.
Yeah, we had a game on Thursday. Portage beat Altona 4-2. Just switching back quickly to that Carman game, Aaron's teammate, Laurent Benjamin, picked up a hat trick, which is obviously a stat that you have to give props to. Now second in the league in goal scoring, 3 goals behind the lead of Matt Gingera. So the tandem out of Carman there, who are currently sitting third place in the Mjhl standings, are lighting the lamp consistently. If we want to look towards that standings, it's still Notre Dame that has that stranglehold of first place, 12-2-1-1, 26 points, 4 points ahead of second place Warren.
Second place Warren, I mean, they're sitting there in second, like you said. The goals for, goals against is my number one key stat for a team perspective. I mean, their win percentage is sitting at a 750, but they've got the highest output of offense with 81 goals for. Now, their goals against is a little bit more higher than you'd expect for a first-place team, but nonetheless, they're doing the job well with the whole philosophy of if they score 3, we got to score 4. If they score 6, we got to score 7. And in this case, 3 Carman players are sitting in the top 10 in scoring, which we'll get to later on. So for Carman, I mean, they're sitting at 500 hockey. They're doing well. And you know what? I think good things are coming for these teams third and fourth place. They're starting to put a little heat on the top two teams.
Yeah, that's where it gets jumbled up a bit. You have Notre Dame sitting pretty in the first place spot there. Warren follows them not too far back, 4 points back at 22. Then you have Carmen, Morden, and Portage, 17, 16, 13. So with only a few games left here in the SEMHL regular season, a big push for a couple of these teams.
Absolutely. They will want to finish in those playoff spots, and you always want to extend that regular season, and that's something for especially these hometowns, and you get to enjoy great hockey and get to see their local fan favorites playing a little extra hockey after the regular season.
Well, you mentioned it earlier in the stats race to the finish here, where Aaron Lewanduk is first place with 36 points through 12 games played. Then you have three players from Notre Dame. Matt Shingera, who leads the league in goals with 19. Steve Clark has 30 points. He's 6 behind the league of Aaron. And Brody Schabbert also rounding out the top 4. Blair McCulley, the first player that's not on Carmen or Notre Dame. He plays for Altona, has 27 points on the year. But it just shows that Notre Dame is in first place for a reason. You mentioned 81 goals for, which leads the league as well. 3 out of the top 4 players all play for Notre Dame.
And I'm probably going to be safe to say that those 3 out of 4 players for Notre Dame probably play more than not a lot of time together as a set of forwards. I mean, usually you get 1 goal. The other 2 guys will get the helpers, vice versa. You're seeing very similar stats, 33, 30, and 29 respectively. So, I mean, for the Notre Dame team, they've also got another game, Kyle Rouse. Looks like he's got a defensive number, perhaps. He's 26 points, doing well. He sits in 6th place. So, I mean, they've got 4 out of the top 6 scorers in the Southeastern Men's Hockey League right now. So, they look like a really strong first-place team offensively.
Yeah, well, coming up this weekend, we mentioned not many games left here in the regular season for the Southeastern Manitoba Hockey League. It'll feature a pair of games as Warren will go on the road to face Portage and Morden will play host to Altona. So things to look forward to in the Southeastern Manitoba Hockey League. Just want to remind you, we want to thank Get Empowered, our official communications provider for cell phones, iPads, and more. Contact your authorized Dallas dealer today, getempowered.ca. Switching over now to the Tiger Hills Hockey League, now in the Senior Men's Manitoba. Friday's game, three slates there on Friday. As 4th place in the West, Souris defeated 3rd place in the West, Hartney, 5-4 in a shootout. 7th place, Mjhl lost to the 4th place in the East, McGregor, 13-3. So McGregor was able to show that offensive flash that they possessed all season long. Matt Varnes picked up 6 points for McGregor as 2 games, on Friday took place. And McGregor now, who are in 3rd place with a .500 record, 8-8-0-1, absolutely put the ranks on Mjhl, a 13-3 victory.
Yeah, I know Melita and Pilot Mountain both sitting in the last place in their respective standing in their each division there. I mean, 13 teams representing the Tiger Hills Hockey League, and unfortunately for Pilot Mountain and Melita, they're not going to seem like they're going to make the playoffs. But you look at the strength of the top 2 teams in Neepawa and Killarney. Actually, Killarney is tied with Boissevain, and Boissevain has one of the top scorers, 2 of the top 2 scorers in the league right now. You look at the strengths again of these young players, or these adult players, I guess, but not young anymore, and how they're able to carry a team forward and how to lead by example. And it's not so much what's done on the ice. I mean, you look at their top player in Tyler Dittmer. I mean, we'll get to him, but 3.4 points per game on average. This guy is lethal on the ice, and he's probably lethal in the locker room, leading by example and telling those old stories, those historical stories, those monumental captions that allow his team to just follow through and make things better.
Yeah, well, you mentioned players who not only lead by example, but sure lead on the score sheet, and that's been Tyler Dittmer for Boissevain all season long, 58 points in 17 games.
And right behind him is Zenon Zeimer. I mean, he's got 44 points as well.
Yeah, the teammate of Tyler's.
Yeah, they're both doing fantastic work. Also, you have to look at the fact that both players combined have only 10 minutes in penalties. So they're very good about staying out of the penalty box, which allows them to play more on the ice. And good for them. I mean, they're great. They're doing great work. Matt Lowry's leading Neepawa. I mean, he's got 15 games played, 43 points respectively. So he's almost going at a 3-point per game Pimmer as well. So doing great work there in Neepawa. And you know what? These teams are looking, I mean, you look at some of the offensive powers here. 123 goals for Boissevain, leading the league. And then right behind them is Neepawa and Gladstone, 109 and 103 respectively. So great job by the offensive sides. The numbers for the goaltenders, I mean, we didn't touch too much on the goaltenders for Southeastern, but I mean, what can you say? I mean, these guys are doing great jobs on the ice, keeping the pucks out of the net. Pipes well done. Good work in the Tiger Hills Hockey League. What kind of games coming up?
Well, so Neepawa and I believe it's Gladstone 1-2 there in their division. Neepawa 24, Gladstone 22. Meanwhile, in the other division, Killarney and Boys of Vane tied for first place, both with 28 points. Weekend features 5 games on Saturday night as Pilot Mount will go into Killarney. Gladstone will face Minnedosa. First place Neepawa will take on Melita. And Boys of Vane, who is tied for first, will take on Cartwright, who is 5th in the Eastern Conference there. And finally on Saturday, the final game to take place would be Deloraine going into Souris to make it to 5 games on Saturday in the Tiger Hills Hockey League. And again, just like the Southeastern Manitoba League, regular season wrapping up soon. So if it's time to make a push, it's now.
Wrapping up soon. Enjoy that community hockey, that men's league hockey in your area. Some great stuff going on. I mean, Saturday night, Elton John said it best. It's a great day for fighting, but it's also a great night to watch local hockey in your neighborhood.
Now the Carillon Senior Hockey League, the final one to touch upon in the senior men's here in Manitoba. Monday, January 22nd, so we're going back a few days here. First place St. Anne defeats third place Red River 6-3. St. Anne moves up 3 points ahead of Grunthal now for first place in the league. Brock Brom, who is the brother of Bailey Bram, who just got selected to go to Team Canada for the women's hockey program there. So she'll be representing the red and white as they hit the ice in Pyeongchang. Was the final cut back in 2014 in Sochi, and was an absolute honor for her to be able to represent that jersey. And her brother in that game on Monday had 3 assists.
No, great job by him, and as well, congratulations to the sister. I mean, Pyeongchang only comes up in a couple of weeks, starting February 5th, and for the ladies that were selected for that team, a huge congratulations. They're hoping to bring back at least a gold. And if we have to bring a silver, so be it. But we know it's going to be a great team representing the red and white over there in the Koreas. I mean, you look at this CSHL. I mean, there's only 5 teams. And St. Anne, they're almost running away with it. 14-3 record. Grunthal does have a couple of games in hand. But, that 1-2 is pretty close in terms of respect. 1-2 standings in the CSHL. And in terms of goal scorers, you look back at the St. Anne's team, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 out of 9 players on the St. Anne's team are in the top 10 scoring, which is pretty incredible. And the one person that's cracked that top 9, Cole Brunet, 23 points in 12 games. So he's no slouch by any means.
Yeah, you mentioned it. It's 2 teams that are really running away and establishing themselves as the cream of the crop here in the Carillon Senior Hockey Leagues is St. Anne's and Grunthal. Thursday night, Red River defeated Grunthal 5-4 in OT. So Grunthal was trying to get up 1 point behind St. Anne's, settles for a single point as the Clint Lucier, the goal scorer in overtime for Red River, pushes them above Grunthal 5-4. Grunthal settles for a single point, and are now 2 behind the lead of St. Anne's. But 28 for St. Anne's, 26 for Grunthal. Next and third is 15 points for Red River.
Yeah, and Red River's, they're playing that spoiler thing. They're trying to get in. They're going to probably make the playoffs as well. You look between St. Malo and Lac de Bonnet, they're finishing 4th and 5th, but there's only 1 point separating the two. And I don't know, for either team, do they have anything left to play for in this? Or is there something where, they continue to play spoiler? Do they try to, get into the playoffs? Do they have time to get in the playoffs? Only time will tell because the regular season is ending up very shortly.
Yeah, and you mentioned it. If we want to take a quick look inside the stats, top 7 skaters in the league, all for St. Anne's.
Incredible. It just shows by leading by example on the ice, leading by example off the ice. These guys are playing great hockey, great men's hockey. And you know what? For a St. Anne's team, community wraps around them very much so. Great fan support there in St. Anne. I've actually checked out a couple of those games, and it's good hockey to watch. It's fun. Well,
that's going to wrap up our senior men's hockey league here in Manitoba on the Manitoba Sports Desk. Of course, we'll be right back with an interview with Roger Langes. And I know it's January, but we're going to talk a little baseball as the under-21 female baseball nationals are taking place in Stonewall this year. So it's never too early to talk a little baseball, and we're going to do that next right here on the Manitoba Sports Desk. Roy McGorn, Theo Touchclock with you, so stick around for that.
At Super 8 Winnipeg West, we have your comfort in mind, with free Wi-Fi and free daily Superstart breakfast. We also have guest laundry facilities, a state-of-the-art fitness center, and a jetted hot tub. Sleep well in a spacious guest room equipped with plush new bedding, a 50-inch flat-screen HD TV, microwave, mini refrigerator, and Keurig coffee maker. Or book a suite with a kitchen, ideal for extended stays. Super 8 Winnipeg West, located just inside the perimeter on Portage Avenue.
Welcome to MB Seeds. I'm Matt and this is B, and we're a family-run business. We've been operating since 2012 and we sell canola, soybeans, corn, wheat, barley, oats, and peas. We also run a cleaning facility on site just south of Low Farm where we can clean almost anything that you can grow. Come check us out today.
Hi, I'm Cassandra Curie with Fair & Fitness. We're located in Île-des-Chênes, Manitoba. We do everything from personal training, group training classes, yoga, and flexible steel. We also focus on young athletes. We do not only just the strength and conditioning, but the agility, power, rotational control and strength, and flexibility, stability, and mobility is always super important. You can find us at fermfitness.ca and come check us out. Hi, I'm Melanie from Melanie Bond and Athletic Therapy. I deal with rehab here, and one of the treatments that I use is massage, some mobilizations, and there are many other techniques that I take care of to help heal injuries.
I treat sports injuries, workplace injuries, motor vehicle accident injuries, and I direct bill to MPI, WCB, and other third-party insurers. Thank you. Come see us.
Are you looking for a career in the salon industry? Check out Aveda Institute Winnipeg in the Exchange. What sets us apart is our student mentorship program, 95% placement rate after graduation, real-world salon experience, and network of 7,000 salons and spas. You will learn creative cut and coloring, latest trends and techniques, social media marketing, fashion shows, photo shoots, and more. Now accepting applications for 2018, so check us out and book your tour today. Aveda Institute Winnipeg. Hair school the way it should be.
All right, thanks for joining us here on the Manitoba Sports Network, the first inaugural Manitoba Sports Desk. I'm joined via phone with Mr. Roger Langlais. We're going to talk a little baseball, even though there's some snow flying outside. And bottom line is, Roger, you can never be too prepared to talk a little baseball. Am I right?
No, it's definitely time to start talking about baseball.
So we're gonna beat spring training in Dunedin, Florida. And we're going to talk a little bit about Stonewall, Manitoba. If anyone doesn't know where Stonewall, Manitoba is, well, the bottom line is just follow it's just outside the city, about 15, 20 minutes, right?
Yeah, you bet.
Okay, and so what's happening, Roger, with the under-21 National Women's Hardball? Tell us a little about the event.
Yeah, you bet. So we're looking forward to hosting the second 21U Women's Invitational Baseball Championship. So it's a Baseball Canadian Championship in Stonewall, Manitoba for a second year.
So it's the second year it's happening. What are the dates of said event?
The dates will, teams will arrive on the Wednesday, August 8th, and competition starts on August 9th and runs through to Sunday, August 12th.
So it's about a weekend filled of national or teams from each province represented and coming into Stonewall to get a national championship.
Yeah, this year it's been confirmed we have 6 teams competing, and they'll be representing their provinces of Nova Scotia, Quebec, Ontario, Manitoba, BC, and this year a newly formed team for 21U is Saskatchewan.
Fabulous. So we have 6 teams already confirmed. Now, does that mean there may be more teams being confirmed later on in the year?
No, looks like that's the final team composition. Provinces need to commit early for the various nationals, so I think that's the final number of teams.
Okay, so we've got 6 teams confirmed. How does the Manitoba representative become, the champion, and how does it become representing Manitoba come August in Stonewall?
Well, the 21U women's baseball team is formed under Baseball Manitoba, so our Baseball Manitoba sport governing body for baseball. So I'm aware Baseball Manitoba has just recently selected their head coach, Jeremy Colton. So Jeremy will be forming his coaching team, and there'll be, basically selection process starting fairly soon through the winter and into spring, and I'm sure by spring the team will be announced, and they'll be moving into not just practicing but competition, against higher level boys and maybe some women across not just Manitoba but maybe elsewhere. prior to the tournament.
Okay, so there's a selection process that Jeremy has to go through. How many players will be making this squad come August?
Yeah, that'll be there's a maximum roster. I think it'd probably be carrying upwards of 15 to 16 players for the team.
Okay, so this team that's going to be selected, they're going to be playing throughout the year. When does the season actually start for most of these players?
Competition-wise, I mean, we pretty much kick off in early May. A lot of the women, especially at the 16 and 18 youth, some of those women will be on some boys' teams throughout the province. So they'll not only be competing on the 21U women's team, but they'll be competing on their respective boys teams.
Okay, so then from that, are there going to be any extra games that these selection players will be having to play, or mostly practices, or mostly just getting geared up through the season, through their own regular season?
Yeah, they'll be competing through their regular season, but for sure, I'm sure head coach Jeremy Colton will want to create opportunity for his women's team to start peaking towards the 21U women's nationals, and not only practicing but competing, so they're ready to compete at the highest level at that time.
So that's fantastic news. So Stonewall, Manitoba, get ready, August 9th through 12th. How does one get tickets? How does one get more information on this event, Roger? And I'm assuming it's through Baseball Manitoba, but is there any other information that we could let our listeners know?
Yeah, so at this time I would recommend all our information is on the Baseball Manitoba website. You can also, the information related to the event, it will be posted, and we're working towards that, posting the relevant information on the Baseball Canada website, where on the Baseball Canada website it will list the respective national tournaments across Canada, of which, again, we're hosting the 21U Women's Invitational.
Great news.
All the relevant information will be on both websites.
Well, thank you very much, Roger, for your time. I really appreciate it. Check on those websites, Baseball Manitoba as well, for pertaining information later on in the year. Thank you for joining us again, Roger. Just want to let everyone know this interview has been brought to you by the Avita Institute here in Winnipeg. We'll be back after a short commercial break. And then we're going to do a small little minor hockey report, a little community thing I got to enjoy later on or early on this week down in Rosenort, Manitoba. So stick with us. Theo Tutkaluk, Manitoba Sports Network. Rory's going to come join me again. We'll see you in a bit.
Not only did they have a fantastic tournament, they went 6-0. A lot of goals for, and how many goals against? A little louder.
0.
That's right, 0. I've never gone 6 games and never had a goal scored against me, so fantastic. Well done, Killer Bees. They come home with a trophy, which the goalie is holding there, the 150 boys tournament there. Great job. Not only a little sugar on top, they also won the skills competition. Who was in the skills competition? All of us. Look at that. See? Team of 11, everybody in the skills competition. Teamwork at its best, 6-0. We're going to go around the horn. First and last name and their best part of Ottawa and the tournament. Here we go.
My name's Alex Manning, and my favorite part about Ottawa was probably the great food there.
My name is Aiden Weeb, and my favorite part of the tournament was going to see a game, playing in the Canadian Tire Center.
My name is Keenan Vorse, and I loved all the games that we played and just having fun. My name is Austin Swall, and my favorite part of Ottawa was probably playing in the Canadian Tire Center. My name is Ethan Clace, and my favorite part of the trip to Ottawa was playing hockey. My name is Natasha Drager. My favorite part about the trip was playing with my team.
My name is Rylan Keck. My favorite part of the trip was being able to bond with my team and get to know more about them.
My name's Hayden Peters. My favorite part about the trip was playing in the Canadian Tire Center.
My name is Logan. Logan Mazinski. My favorite part of the trip was playing in the Canadian Tire Center.
My name is Sebastian Hicks, and my favorite part of playing in Ottawa was playing in the Canadian Tire Center with my team and being champions.
Hi, my name is Spencer Sabrin. My favorite part of playing in Ottawa was playing against all the teams across Canada.
Great job, everybody. Playing teams from all across Canada. We played a team from Quebec, right? Northern Ontario, Alberta, PEI, Northwest Territories. Who was in the final? The Yukon. But they couldn't because you guys won. You players. 4-0 was the final, right? Okay, for the players that played in the Canadian Tire Center, tell me how different it was playing in a seating capacity of 21,000 compared to an arena of 400.
It was different, but the same size as this rink.
So the same dimensions. So you weren't worried about the seats. You were more worried about just the fact of the playing surface? All right. And I understand you were supposed to play a game outside. That didn't happen. That was okay? Okay. No, but did you guys get to skate on the ice at least?
Yeah.
Did you have fun?
Yeah.
What was the best part about the outdoor ice?
It was fun because it was not too cold that day because everyone was dressed up. But yeah, just being there on Parliament Hill was pretty amazing.
Very cool. Speaking of Parliament Hill, did you enjoy Parliament Hill? All right, we talked a little bit earlier about something that was taking you from Senate to maybe the underground. Pass this mic down. Tell me about it. Listen all the way down there.
We got to travel in the underground tunnels to go to the main building.
What were they used
Because there was a whole bunch of press and they had to get away from it, so they would go in the underground tunnels so it'd be quicker.
Absolutely great. Now bring the mic back over here. We're talking to the gentleman, first guy here. What's your name again, sorry? Alec. He talks to me about food. What was the best food spot in Ottawa?
Probably the beaver tail stand.
Okay, what was so great about the beaver tail stand?
Well, it was kind of it kind of felt like it's an original idea in that there's so many flavors.
Flavors of ice cream?
No, it's like just almost anything, like apple, cinnamon, cookies and cream, anything like that.
Sounds like heaven. I guess more of you enjoyed the beaver tail as well? All right, now a question for Logan here, because he's the goalie that didn't let a single goal in. Did you notice the bright lights in the Canadian Tire Center different than at home?
Yeah, they were just huge and they got me distracted sometimes. Not really. Sometimes. No. Because I was watching on the Jumbotron sometimes.
Wonderful stories by everybody. Lastly, I'm going to go around the horn one more time. You guys have had a chance to check out some sights and sounds. Can you name one of the best places you were in Ottawa outside of hockey? And then we'll let you guys get ready for practice. Okay, we'll start down below here.
My favorite place?
Favorite place in Ottawa?
Probably the Canadian Tire Center.
It's a tie in between the outdoor rink and the Canadian Tire Center.
The Sens House.
Both Parliament and Sens House.
I'd say the Canadian Tire Center and Parliament.
The Parliament building and the skating rink. Parliament Hill.
Sens House.
Parliament Hill.
Parliament Hill and Canadian Tire Center.
Probably a tie between the Canadian Tire Center and also the Canadian Air and Space Museum.
Very good. So are you able to wear these jerseys, or are these just your tournament jerseys? You go back to the Wild jerseys? Just use them once? Awesome. Well, there you have it. The Killer Bees, the Wild, 6-0, champions, national champions in the first ever only inaugural Bell Capital Cup, which is awesome. They got the banner to prove it. We're going to hang it high, I'm sure, somewhere. Congratulations, everybody. Well done. Thank you for representing Southern Manitoba so well. Have a wonderful evening. We'll talk to some of the parents and some of the coaches in a minute. Theo's talk with you. Manitoba Sports Network.
Hi, I'm Melanie from Melanie Bond and Athletic Therapy. I deal with rehab here, and one of the treatments that I use is massage, some mobilizations, and there are many other techniques that I take care of to help heal injuries. I treat sports injuries, workplace injuries, motor vehicle accident injuries, and I direct bill to MPI, WCB, and other third-party insurers. Thank you. Come see us.
Welcome back here inside Bell MTS Iceplex. Rory McGore and Theo Tutcluck with you. Theo, quite a good group of boys and girls there that had obviously a trip of a lifetime going to Ottawa.
I mean, what can you say about 11 and 12-year-olds? First of all, being selected to represent not only Southern Manitoba, but all of Manitoba. Go to Ottawa, Ontario, the inaugural 150 Bell Capital Cup. And, I mean, the stories that these young children have for the rest of their life is so crucial. I mean, you don't understand until you actually get to experience something like this as a team, as a player, with your parents. And just something we want to touch base on real quick is how impressive it was that these young players represented, 2 RMs, 6 towns, 6,100 people in Southern Manitoba. And they did such a great job. I mean, developing relationships with the 3 territories, especially Nunavut, the great story with them. Going in the underground tunnels between the Parliament and Senate. Of course, watching a Senators hockey game and the Ottawa not winning, unfortunately. The bus rides, the curfews, the itineraries, everything was done professionally by the great group of parents and their managers. And talking about a town and a group of towns that come across and represent and fundraise, just the support that came from that group of for those players was very impressive. And if you want to catch that interview as well, that's also on our Manitoba Sports Network Facebook page. So we have a gentleman in the middle of us, Rory.
Yes, if you're wondering who is in the middle, Eric Vincent will be joining us with Football Manitoba. That minor league hockey report was brought to you by GT Hockey. Go to gtperformancehockey.com. Eric Vincent, very pleased to have you on the show. After a quick commercial break, we're going to bring you in. You're going to fill us in with everything Football Manitoba.
Thanks very much for having me.
All right, stay tuned along the Manitoba Sports Network.
Hi, I'm Melanie from Melanie Bond and Athletic Therapy. I deal with rehab here, and one of the treatments that I use is massage, some mobilizations, and there are many other techniques that I take care of to help heal injuries.
I treat sports injuries, workplace injuries, motor vehicle accident injuries, and I direct bill to MPI, WCB, and other third-party insurers. Thank you. Come see us.
Welcome back here, Bell MTS Iceplex, Rory McGoran, Theo Tutkaluk, and of course in the middle, Eric Vincent, Football Manitoba. Eric, how's it going?
Too bad. How are you guys doing this morning?
Honestly, fantastic. Wonderful Saturday, great weather outside, and January 27th, never too early, never too late to talk about football, especially here in Manitoba.
What most people don't kind of realize is football is really 12 months a year. We're really, really busy in the fall, but we've got a ton of wonderful programming going on both at the youth level as well as at our high-performance provincial team level right now.
Well, you actually mentioned here Christmas breaks. Like you said, 12 months a year, even during the Christmas break, you guys ran 2 camps, a flag one and a tackle one. 200 kids came out to that.
So throughout the Christmas break, we're really looking at an opportunity to develop our youth football players. Also, the parents are looking for some cheap babysitting during Christmas break, so that worked out really well on our part. Just after Christmas, on the 27th, 28th, and 29th of December, we held a flag football skills camp at the South Complex at the U of M. We had about 80 players show up. Kids all the way from age 7 all the way through age 15 were participating.
Has there been an uptick in parents looking towards the flag football option? Has there been a growth in the amount of kids you have come out wanting to try to learn not the sport of football tackle-wise, but, I mean, the electric game of flag football, which really utilizes the speed and agility and elusiveness of a lot of these players?
So our Football Manitoba Spring Flag Football League is up to about 1,200 participants now. So for a lot of the players, that goes from age 7 all the way through age 17. And for a lot of players, it offers kind of an initial exposure to football without the contact, without the equipment. And what we're really starting to see now is a lot of older players, our high school level, our midget level players, defensive backs, quarterbacks, receivers, they're starting to look at flag football as a way to develop that skill set during the offseason. Right now, we've got a Winnipeg High School Football League, flag football league going on during the winter. And that's where we're starting to see a lot of crossover from our tackle players actually playing flag because they realize the value of that flag football as well.
Absolutely. And I know you wanted to hit home about Football Manitoba and for especially the youth. What can they accomplish by joining Football Manitoba, by football as a sport? And, I mean, the programs that you have now are second to none, really. I mean, so what is going on for the youth inside of Manitoba in terms of football?
So especially in this year, last year I actually personally had the opportunity to go to Ottawa in March to receive a community leadership training. And this is really kind of top down from Football Canada. The idea is we're really trying to focus on skill development at a younger age to get these kids developing appropriately, not necessarily with contact, but just working on football from that young age all the way through our long-term athlete development model. So at Christmas time, we had that 80-person flag camp, and then we had a similar tackle skills camp just after New Year's. That one was at the new North Complex on Leela. I was personally on hand as the head coach at that camp, and we had almost 120 kids at that one. So now we're adding a very similar camp at spring break, which should hopefully see about 130, 140 kids at the North Complex. And then we're also about to kick off our high-performance program, which will see these kids come through that youth level and then slowly make their way into our U16 and U18 provincial team programs.
We're not just talking about males here, because in February, you guys are starting out an all-girls league, which, to your knowledge, is the only one in Canada.
So one of the big pushes from Football Canada right now is to create female-only streams of participation. At younger ages, it's okay for the girls to be playing co-ed, but ideally, if possible, we want to have every opportunity for girls to play football with girls. So for flag football, our spring league over the last couple of years hasn't actually had an all-girls division. So what we're doing this year is running a pilot program with high school-age girls in February and March, 4 weekends in a row of flag football, hoping that if we drum up enough interest with that, we can actually offer an all-girls division in our spring flag league once that kicks off.
Okay, So I got one more for you before Theo picks your brain here. Just talk about the International Bowl in Arlington, Texas. Just a great experience for a lot of these people.
So every year after our national championships, at the U18 level, they select a Team Canada, which goes down to, in this year, at the actual Cowboys Stadium, and they go down and compete in the International Bowl against the U.S. team. So we had a U18 team go down, we had a U19 team, and we had a U16 Team Canada West and Team Canada East. So from our Team Canada West, which was picked from the U16 Western Regionals, we had 8 kids from Team Manitoba head down. From our U18 team, we had 2 players head down, 2 linebackers. And then for the U19 team, which actually includes first-year CIS players, we had another 3 players go down, 2 of which play locally with our U of M Bisons, Shea Weeks and Cole Adamson from Oak Park were down there as well. And we also had Wellen Slater, who's a local high school product out of the St. John's Tigers.
So Manitoba well represented.
Absolutely. The boys had an absolute blast down there. And we also had 3 coaches that were down there. So our head coach from our U16 program, Coach Jeff Reddy, as well as his receiver coach, Drew Oleskowicz, they were down with the U16 program. And then Coach Donald Burrell, who was the head coach of our U18 team, he was down coaching the defensive backs and the special teams with the U18 squad.
Beautiful. Theo?
So, Eric, we're not going to dive back into the history, but we'll get right to the crux of the matter here. Starting young kids on football, we talked a lot about the flag. Tell us about this first down program that's coming into Winnipeg this upcoming year.
So one of the programs that we're looking to run, and this came directly from Football Canada, in March when I was there actually, there was a group of us from across the country that are actually working on developing the first down program. So the first down program is aimed at the U6 level as well as the U8 level. So what we're trying to do is get these young kids and really focus on developing fundamental movement skills, not just football, but let's run, let's throw, let's catch, let's kick. And then let's transfer those skills into the fundamental football skills. And then once they get old enough, we can start to add in the contact and look at the tackling and the blocking. But you're going to have a hard time tackling someone if you don't know how to run and you don't know how to hit anything. So really working on those fundamental skills at that young age. Let's get them physically literate, and then let's let them play flag football and tackle football.
That sounds like great news. And when is this program going to be started running? How do people get registered into the U6, U8 program?
So this spring, Football Manitoba is going to be running kind of the pilot program for First Down, where it's going to be initiated by Football Manitoba. We're going to be bringing in coaches from all of our different community clubs so they can get familiar with the programming, work together as coaches, and kind of figure out what that's going to look like at their individual clubs. The goal is that moving forward, our individual clubs, your Fort Garry Lions, your St. James Rods, your San Mateo Mustangs, your Falcons Football Club, they can start running kind of their own version of the First Down program with the coaches that have received the training with us.
That sounds like great news. Now, we talked at the beginning about the importance and the growth in numbers with the flag football programs here in Winnipeg. Have you, as a group, and in being involved in Football Manitoba, how has the contact aspect of the sport been gaining or getting more attention or not more attention based on the amount of injuries? And how is Football Manitoba coaching and helping the players understand the importance of proper hitting and the protocols and screening protocols to making sure that these players are able to return to play?
So one of the big ones right now is about 5 or 6 years ago, Football Canada rolled out our Safe Contact program. So Safe Contact is our 8-hour certification course that coaches must take in order to coach football. I'm also employed by Football Manitoba as a learning facilitator, so I actually help teach the NCCP clinics. I've facilitated approximately 12 Safe Contact clinics up to this point, and it's really split into 2 parts. We focus on concussion awareness. Don't want to scare anyone with the C word, but that's something it is true. There are concussions in sport, but if you look at the data, the rates of incidence of concussions are not significantly higher in football than any other sport. What I think is what's happening is with these high-profile cases in the NHL, in the NFL that we're seeing in the news, we're just becoming more and more aware of it. So to us, it's just very important to us to get the point across that we're doing everything we can to make football as safe as possible for the youth. We're making sure that our coaches are trained so that the old attitude of maybe 20, 30 years ago, let's just go out there and hit each other, where now we're focusing on, well, how much contact do we need in practice? How do we safely teach our kids to hit properly, to block properly, so that we try and avoid these things as much as possible? Then we also work on, in the inevitable case that if there is a concussion, we're properly working those athletes through the return to play protocol, and we're never hurrying an athlete back into play.
With obviously you mentioned, concussion, and it's become such, a global thing in the past 5-10 years. Where do you see flag football in the next 10 years? And is Football Manitoba really gearing up towards a big shift in what the parents put their maybe 6, 7, or 8-year-olds kids through? If it's now they want to play football, is it maybe now considered for them to go to flag instead of contact with the whole situation surrounding concussions?
So one of the big shifts that we're kind of seeing, they're starting to track this data in the U.S. actually, and tackle football registration is down significantly in the States, but we're seeing a very large rise in flag football. I mean, for us at the end of the day, as long as kids are playing football, they're playing a team sport, they're working together, they're learning those lessons, more kids playing football is what we want. What we're really starting to see is we've also implemented, and this is based on the recommendations from Football Canada, we're going to be slowly moving our age groups up for next year. So previously in Manitoba, in our cruncher age group, our 7-year-olds would have already been playing tackle football. This year, we're going to move that up to a U10 age group, so 8 and 9-year-olds. So those 7-year-olds are just going to be playing flag. What we're really trying to focus on is at those younger age groups, developing the proper fundamental movement skills and physical literacy and getting them into flag football, getting them into that first down physical literacy program so that they're physically ready to play tackle football at those older ages.
So we talked about the fundamentals on the field, and I think that's a great lead-in because I've got a 5-year-old and he loves running around with a football. So, I mean, teaching him the fundamentals, the moving, the skills, the bob and weave, the spin, all that jazz, the elusiveness we got to. The fundamentals off the field, and well, just a quick lead-in to our recently this past week, Mr. Vince McMahon got up on stage and decided to introduce the XFL season or part 2. What's your thoughts on maybe this whole XFL thing, and do you think it'll fly more than a season?
Well, last time it happened, it didn't last all that long. No. But if I've learned one thing, and I think there's kind of a disconnect that we're seeing at that professional sports level in the NFL as well, where people want to see big plays. They want to see big hits. There's a reason that the UFC exists. People want to see people doing exciting things, and the XFL can provide a product that is exciting and that people will watch. There might be a place for that. I would rather see a world where we learn to appreciate football fundamentals, and one day I can look up on YouTube excellent fundamental football tackles rather than biggest hits of 2017, and really start to appreciate the true beauty of the game of football for what it is, not just for the contact, not just for the big hits, but for all of those other aspects of the game, right? The teamwork, the fact that everyone has a role on the team. I still believe that football is the greatest team game there is.
Eric Vincent joining us from Football Manitoba. This interview is brought to you by Melanie Bond and Athletic Therapy. Eric, or Theo, you as well, before we let you go here and get on with your Saturday. Anything that we missed here, or just anything that you want to throw out there on part of yourself, on part of Football Manitoba that we haven't covered yet here today?
One of the big ones I'd maybe like to look at is we've got our high performance program coming up. So we've actually made some changes this year. Our high performance program operates at the U16 and the U18 level. And some of the changes we made this year is we're going to be hosting our Phase 1 ID camp on April 14th and 15th. We're holding the entire camp over one single weekend, trying to get true representation from the entire province of Manitoba as much as possible. I mean, we alluded to earlier in our hockey report about some of those hotbeds of talent that we have all over the province. We've got phenomenal football players in Swan River, in Neepawa, in Brandon, in Souris, in Verdun, and trying to make sure that if you're a quality football player that deserves to be on this team, no matter where you live in our province, you can make it out to our selection process and you can be part of this team. So we're really excited that process is coming up, and we've actually got a bus of about 40 to 50 Thunder Bay athletes that register through Football Manitoba that are going to be coming to our first phase as well. So registration is going to be going live next week for our Phase 1 for our high-performance programs, and we're really excited about some of the things coming up with that team.
Yeah, so registration next week. So like you mentioned, anyone from Neepawa, from Souris, who are talented in football, but just maybe haven't found that avenue to get into what you're talking about. Next week, registration starting, and the date's April
14th and 15th.
14th
Phase
and 15th.
1 ID camp.
Well, Theo?
You know what, Eric? It's been great to understand and great to learn about the flag football program, especially what Football Manitoba is doing for the young athletes. I'm going to leave it with this. Next Sunday, Patriots, Eagles, Are you fly, Eagles, fly, or are you going to be putting a 6th ring on Tom Brady's finger?
It sounds cliche, but I really just want to watch a good football game. I've watched too many Super Bowls where it's a blowout or one team chokes. As long as it's a 3-point game or a 2-point game with 3 minutes left in the game, I have a feeling that whatever team ends up with that ball with 2 minutes left in the fourth quarter, somebody's going to drive the field and get a Super Bowl MVP.
Well, there you have it. Eric Vincent, the political answer that we didn't expect from a guy that played defensive football his entire life. He's being a Falcon. I'm a National. Great to have you on the show, Eric. Thank you very much for joining us. Melanie Bond and Physiotherapy. We'll see you guys after a short break.
Hi, I'm Rick Funk from Funk's Toyota. Our family has been in the automotive business for over 45 years. That's 45 plus years of looking after customers. We have a top worldwide recognized product that we are proud to be a partner with Toyota Canada. Every new and used vehicle is negotiable when it comes to purchasing your vehicle here at Funk's Toyota. Our staff of many years is very knowledgeable and will help you, not force you with your buying decision. There are no hidden fees and no pressure tactics. Not only that, we promise what we deliver and have one of the best used vehicle warranties in the business. Our staff love to serve and you will feel like family after your first visit. We are not perfect, but we love to please here at Funk's Toyota. For those of you that have experienced our Funk's Toyota family way, please share it with others and like us and share us on Facebook. We are proud to be a sponsor of the Manitoba Amateur Sports. Visit us online at www.funks.toyota.ca.
At Super 8 Winnipeg West, we have your comfort in mind with free Wi-Fi and free daily Superstart breakfast. We also have guest laundry facilities, a state-of-the-art fitness center, and a jetted hot tub. Sleep well in a spacious guest room equipped with plush new bedding, a 50-inch flat-screen HD TV, microwave, mini refrigerator, and Keurig coffee maker. Or book a suite with a kitchen, ideal for extended stays. Super 8 Winnipeg West, located just inside the perimeter on Portage Avenue. At Super 8 Winnipeg West, we have your comfort in mind with free Wi-Fi and free daily Superstart breakfast. We also have guest laundry facilities, a state-of-the-art fitness center, and a jetted hot tub. Sleep well in a spacious guest room equipped with plush new bedding, a 50-inch flat-screen HD TV, microwave, mini refrigerator, and Keurig coffee maker. Or book a suite with a kitchen, ideal for extended stays. Super 8 Winnipeg West, located just inside the perimeter on Portage Avenue.
Hi, I'm Cassandra Curie with Fair Fitness. We're located in Wilgosh, Manitoba. We do everything from personal training, group training classes, yoga and flexible steel. We also focus on young athletes. We do not only just the strength and conditioning, but the agility, power, rotational control and strength, and flexibility, stability, and mobility is always super important. You can find us at fairfitness.ca and come check us out.
Are you looking for a career in the salon industry? Check out Aveda Institute Winnipeg in the Exchange. What sets us apart is our student mentorship program, 95% placement rate after graduation, real-world salon experience, and network of 7,000 salons and spas. You will learn creative cut and coloring, latest trends and techniques, social media marketing, fashion shows, photo shoots, and more. Now accepting applications for 2018, so check us out and book your tour today. Aveda Institute Winnipeg. Hair school the way it should be.
Welcome back here. Not inside the Bell MTS Iceplex anymore. We are in Steinbach for Miller Days, and we're joined with co-president of Steinbach Minor Hockey, Lori Lenshishin. Lori, how is it going down there?
We're having a great day out here in Steinbach. It's a little blustery outside, but the weather is perfect inside here, and lots of stuff going on out here at Miller Day.
Sorry, Theo. So with this Miller Days, I mean, you have an alumni game with former NHLers. You have a training camp coming. You have game-worn jerseys from the Steinbach Pistons being auctioned off. I mean, let's start with this this camp that's coming up for a bunch of these people. Rink Training Center will be hosting a free for people who want to just come out and try the sport of hockey.
Yes, it is at 6 o'clock today, from 6 to 6:30. Anyone who is interested in trying hockey, these very well-skilled and well-trained individuals over here are here to help us out. They're going to run a little session. Just come try hockey. Bring a stick, bring a helmet, and skates, and we're good to go.
So is this for people who have maybe played a bit of league hockey before, or for any age, any skill? What are we looking at for this camp?
You know what? Yeah, what we're really looking at is people who haven't played at all.
Okay.
So come and try it. You might love it, like everybody else in Canada.
So, Lori, touch on what the rink is going to be telling these young players for the first time and how they're going to be able to experience this game of hockey for the first time with rink.
You know, I think what they're looking at doing is just in half an hour they're just going to get the people out there and getting stable on their feet and maybe put a stick in their hand, and how does that feel? So it's kind of the start. This would be the start of something, just to kind of give people the feel for it.
So is that preceding or is that following this jam-packed alumni game that you have that features Ian White, Dale Krentz, Jeff Penner?
That is just after the alumni game. So the alumni game right now, I'm actually going to walk over to the ice surface here. We have an Adam 8 game going on, and right after this game will be the alumni game, and so that should be a lot of fun. Whoa, pretty loud. I'll walk back.
We still got you. We're good.
Okay. So that alumni game will be coming up at 4:15, and what we have here is a whole real variety of guys coming out. You mentioned some of our NHL alumni, and we have guys who come through our system, and a whole variety of different guys. So from like the business shinny guy to the former NHLer.
So we've got the alumni game happening after this one. We've got the introduction to hockey for the youngsters brought to you by the rink. And then we top the night off with the Steinbach Pistons playing host to the Steelers, wearing special jerseys that will be auctioned off. How will that auction work for those that are interested?
Right here we have the bid page. So you can still do the online bidding. And then once the Piston game starts, what will happen is you can do the write-in bid, or you can call the Piston contact person there, and they will also add that bid. The jerseys look extremely fine. If I do say so myself, I'll just try and navigate my way through here. And
oh yeah.
So those are the jerseys that will be auctioned off right after the game. So I would expect them to be a little wet, but but you'll get them.
So you need to add a little fleecy to the jersey is what you're saying before you want to wear it.
I'm thinking bring a plastic bag is what I'm thinking. But
well, and I mean, what a game to be featuring. You're getting the league-leading Steinbach Pistons hosting the Selkirk Steelers. And not only that, you get the alumni game featuring a few NHLers and many other great hockey players. And if you're a beginner for hockey, head down there for 6 p.m. where the Rink Training Center will be putting on a free come try hockey session. Anything else that you want to touch on in this great event, Miller Days down in Steinbach?
Right on. Thank you guys very much. I think we've got some of our sponsors out here as well, and we're doing a whole bunch of different things. Come on down.
Well, you heard it there. Thank you so much, Lori. That was Lori Lenshishin from Steinbach. She is the co-president of Steinbach Minor Hockey. Head down to Steinbach. It's a beautiful day outside right now, and a great event there in Steinbach for Miller Days. Thank you so much, Lori. We'll be right back here at the Manitoba Sports Desk on the Manitoba Sports Network with our Mjhl coverage, so stick and stay for that.
Hi, I'm Cassandra Curie with Fair & Fitness. We're located in Ildershay, Manitoba. We do everything from personal training, group training classes, yoga and flexible steel. We also focus on young athletes. We do not only just the strength and conditioning, but the agility, power, rotational control and strength, and flexibility, stability, and mobility is always super important. You can find us at ferrumfitness.ca and come check us out.
Welcome back here inside Bell MTS Iceplex. Rory McGoran, Theo Tutkaluk with you. Eric Vincent we had Lori Lanshishin come in. Great insight, both Football Manitoba, Miller days. Earlier before that, Roger talking about the baseball coming up in U21. Well, let's move on to the MJHL. Hot topic here in Manitoba. Friday consisted of 4 games. Steinbach, league leading. Steinbach Pistons defeat Selkirk 8-2, increases their league lead to 9 points. 74 points in total on the year for Steinbach. Second place Portage was 63, so that's a big jump up there for Steinbach. Daniel McKittrick and Reese Gabber both had 3 points each. William Coop 2 goals.
Great job by the Steinbach Pistons. They get to do this. That's not really a rubber match, but it's more like a revenge match, if you will, later on this evening during Miller Days. So maybe Selkirk will have a better showing. But Steinbach, they're really showing why they're in first place, and the team that's surrounded by great talent on the forward side as well as the defensive side. 8 goals for, definitely showing their offensive prowess to the rest of the MJHL. And they're doing great work in the pipes, and we'll get to that in a second.
Yeah, absolutely. 36-8-1-1 are the Steinbach Pistons. Next game on the Friday slate last night, Swan Valley defeats Verdun 3-2. 3 goals in the second for Swan River. It was enough to hold off Verdun. A goal and assist for Noah Bassarab.
Yeah, Noah did great work there, and playing both ends of the ice and really showing that the little things matter most. He had the goal and assist, but he also was stick-checking hard. He was playing the body when needed. And most importantly, he was playing 200 feet of the ice. And watching his stats and watching the highlights of that game, you could see him playing on the defensive side just as important as playing on the offensive side.
Dauphin defeats Wayway 4-3 in OT. So with 4 goals scored for Dauphin, do a simple mental math there, that's a possibility of 12 points available in the 4 goals.
That is right.
There's 10 different point scores for Dauphin in that 4-3 win way in overtime. And Kyle Alexiuk was the one who got the game winner in the extra frame in free hockey. 10 different point getters. They spread around that puck a lot. They spread it around well, do the Dauphin.
No, a good friend of mine up there for 730 CKDM, Dauphin, calling the game there. And I mean, way, they were home. They're at the bottom of the league. They're really trying to play well for their fans in front of the home fans. And they took it to overtime, just couldn't muster a way to get that 4th goal before Dauphin. And you know what? Darnell Duff called a great game there for 730 CKDM with the Kings, home of the Kings. But great job by Dauphin, like you said, spreading that puck around so it's harder for a team to really focus on that one individual that's going to be your killer, your kryptonite, if you will.
Final game last night was Portage defeating Winkler 4-2. Defenseman Mackenzie Dwyer added 2 more assists, bring his season total to 41. He sits second in the league for D-man points behind Darby Gula of Steinbach of the Pistons. So if you get out to Steinbach for Miller Days, you get to see Darby Gula, who's leading the MJHL for defenseman points.
No, and that's a great thing for the Steelers organization because on the back end is where you need to see the offense. You always want a team that's got great puck movers on your D-line, and he's definitely one of them, and the best one so far this year for the Selkirk Steelers. And you're going to see 2 great defensemen playing later tonight in Steinbach.
Absolutely. So those were the games on Friday night. We're going to take a look now at the standings. Portage and Steinbach. We're going to start with them. The season does go another month and a half here. Portage is 11 points back. Does Steinbach have the absolute hold on that lead, or does Portage make a late-season push? Of course, the defending champion Portage Terriers.
Defending champion Portage Terriers, I mean, they're, you said, 11 points back. But really when it comes down to it is when you get to those playoff and those seedings in the playoffs, when you have you won't see a 1 versus 2 until you get to the finals unless they both play when they finish up. So, I mean, whether you finish 1, whether you finish 2, yes, you're going to have home ice advantage up until that finals. And if Portage really wants to really take advantage against Steinbach, they're going to have to make a push to make sure they have home ice advantage throughout the playoffs. I see that being probably the one and only stat that's really going to make it, more of a series and more beneficial for Portage because as defending champions, they know what it's like. And, I mean, Steinbach was right there last year, too. They had a really good team last year, too. So they just came on the short end of the stick. So maybe we see a bit of a role reversal here. We'll see what happens. Like you said, a month and a half left in the season. I think those 1-2 spots are pretty solid, though.
So jumping into the middle of the pack now, Verdun, Winkler, OCN, Selkirk. Very tight-knit in the middle of the group there. Verdun 58, Winkler 56, OCN 55, and Selkirk 52.
Yeah, I mean, a bit of a logjam between 58 and 52. What can you say about those 4 teams? They're going to be vying for that 3rd to 6th position because they know it's going to be a whole lot harder if you got to play that 1 seed.
So now into the standings here. The elite point scorers in the MJHL. Dexter Kuchek, 70 points in 43 games. He is neck and neck with Bradley Schoenbart of Steinbach, 69 points in 30 games. So although Schoenbart's played, in 45 games. Yes, although Schoenbart's played 2 more games, Kuchek's got that point advantage. But in the MJHL, we can see this as I believe it was the Blues who just beat a team 16-0 or 15-0.
Yeah, that was earlier in the week, and Dexter Kuchek definitely was on that score sheet a number of times, not just once. And, if you ever watch him play, he really controls the ice, and now teams are putting a defensive struggle to say, okay, we have to stop him before he starts destroying us. And for Dexter Kuchek, I mean, he's playing great hockey. He's a big body, big presence for the Blues organization. And he's really stepped it up over the last 3 or 4 games, taking over. Like, he was sitting 4th spot about 10 days ago. And now he's jumped ahead, and he's now leading the league in points. Doing a great job. A couple games in hand over Bradley. And then the 3rd place, a name we can recognize because his older brother plays for the Golden Knights in Jeremy Leipzig. I mean, he plays for Portage. 61 points. Certainly not a slouch by any means. But he's definitely got some shoes to fill.
Well, and he's filling them rightfully so. 61 points, like you mentioned, in 45 games, puts him third in the league in goal in point scoring. Pardon me. And then Winkler, Matt Christian will be fourth with 58 points, and Drew Reward also for Steinbach. For Steinbach is rounds out your top five. Just want to, MJHL, you're going to get some new blood in from the AAA hockey organization from other places around Canada and other places around North America, maybe a European, who knows. But rookies now. Austin Heederman, 41 points in 46 games, most for a rookie. Absolutely jumping ahead of all the rest for the rookie racing. Second place, Joey Moffett with 29. So Austin Heederman for Steinbach with 41 points through 46 games, a .89 point per game click is a heck of a testament for a rookie.
And not only that, though, he plays the center position, and it's probably one of, if not the most responsible positions on the ice, having to play both sides, offensive, defensively, coming down lower in his own end to make sure he plays on the defensive side of things. And then as soon as they find the puck in the defensive zone, he's pushing it fast and furious. And like you said, a .89 clip per game, leading the rookie goals. He's a 99 player, so he's certainly, he's not youngest, but he's younger and doing a great job for that Pistons organization.
And then
Go ahead.
We touched on the defense with Mackenzie Dwyer adding a couple assists in his Friday night's game. Darby Goulet for the Steinbach Pistons going to be playing host to the Selkirk Steelers tonight. 50 points in 43 games. What's that say for a defenseman who's able to put up 1.1 points per game?
It just shows how he protects his side of the ice, but as well lends his helping hand to the offensive side. And as mentioned earlier, when you can find those defensemen, the vision, the ability to move with the puck is imperative when it comes to defensive play. And I've always been told, as soon as you grab possession of the puck and you're sitting in concrete, you're not making any motion, you're going to make an errant pass, you're going to make probably a mistake. I'm sure these top three defensemen are taught very quickly to start moving offensively with the puck or to open space, create that vision, make the proper pass, and then join the puck and join the play as soon as possible. So you're seeing that in the top three defensemen here in the MJ doing very well. Mackenzie Dwyer, what can you say? He's playing great hockey for Steinbach. We talked about the leading rookie being from Steinbach, the leading defenseman being from Steinbach, the second leading point person, only 1 point behind in the total points for the year. Steinbach's clicking in many different ways here. And not to mention, they're also clicking between the pipes. Because if you look at Matthew Thiessen, who has just been given the top prospect for the CJHL, that's a huge accolade given to the goalie in Steinbach as well. 21-3 record, .925 save percentage. He is also the key reason why they're sitting 11 points ahead of second place.
Yeah, you mentioned Steinbach has a grab on first place or second place in all the statistical categories. Matthew Thiessen has first place in all three statistical categories, major statistical categories for goaltenders, that is, in wins, first place in goals against at 2, and first place in save percentage, like you mentioned, at .925. Clean sweep for Matthew Thiessen of, once again, the Steinbach Pistons.
And you know what? It starts at the back end, works its way to the front. And when you can trust your goaltender in the pipes, it gives you an opportunity to play a little more loose, but more importantly, play more offensive. And when you can play more offensive, you can put up scores against Selkirk 8-2.
Well, weekend games go as follows. 4 games tonight. Winnipeg headed into Dauphin to take on the Dauphin Kings. Selkirk's into Steinbach as a part of those Miller Days festivities that they're having down in Steinbach. Swan River travels into Verdun. And Neepawa is going to take on Wayway and try to pick up a win over there. And then following day, tomorrow on Sunday, OCN is headed here to the Bell MTS Iceplex to take on the Winnipeg Blues. Meanwhile, Neepawa will play back-to-back days and take on Verdun, who also is coming off back-to-back days in Verdun. And that'll wrap up a weekend in the MJHL. And like we mentioned, a month and a half left in the season. Other than a few teams up at the top, there's a lot of battling going on there for playoff hopes.
Playoff hopes, playoff seedings, but also it's one of those things where you don't want to have a team peaking too soon. And I don't think you could say that, to Steinbach
They've
or
been
Portage.
up there all year.
They're there the whole time. And you know what? For the other teams, and even when you consider, you're looking at the Winnipeg Blues sitting in 7th spot right now, they're just at the bottom of that logjam. And if Billy Keene can get his team to kind of wrestle up the sources and get the horses moving, and instead of feeding water, they start running like thoroughbreds, they have a chance to pop in a couple extra seeds and maybe move up to 4th or even 3rd. You know, the season is definitely not over for a lot of these teams, especially seeding for between 3 and 8.
Well, no, Winnipeg, I mean, although right in that mix in the middle of the pack, have 2 players in the top 10. Dexter Kuchek is the leading point scorer in the MJHL. Levi Cudmore slotting right in there at 9. So once the playoffs start, anything can happen in the MJHL, and we've seen that year in and year out.
We have, and we see those teams, you know, that one team that will just, you know, get on a hot streak. And because it's a playoff series where they have to win more than one game to move on to the next series, anything can happen, like you said, Rory. And the bottom line is, for a team like Winnipeg Blues or the Winkler Flyers, if they get onto a hot streak just at the end of regular season, they might be that team to beat. So who knows?
That was our MJHL coverage here on the Manitoba Sports Desk, brought to you by Pembina Valley Physiotherapy and Sports Injury. We'll be right back with another guest, Aaron Wilgosh of the Portage Daily Graphic. He's going to fill us in with everything Central Plains, everything Portage related. We'll talk high school. We'll talk AAA boys and girls. We'll talk senior men's with the Islanders. Maybe a little football and much more coming up next with Rory and Theo, joined by Aaron next segment here on the Manitoba Sports Network Sports Desk.
Hi, I'm Cassandra Curie with Fair Fitness. We're located in Ildershay, Manitoba. We do everything from personal training, group training classes, yoga and flexible steel. We also focus on young athletes. We do not only just the strength and conditioning, but the agility, power, rotational control and strength, and flexibility, stability, and mobility is always super important. You can find us at fairmfitness.ca and come check us out.
Are you looking for a career in the salon industry? Check out Aveda Institute Winnipeg in the Exchange. What sets us apart is our student mentorship program, 95% placement rate after graduation, real-world salon experience, and network of 7,000 salons and spas. You will learn creative cut and coloring, latest trends and techniques, social media marketing, fashion shows, photo shoots, and more. Now accepting applications for 2018, so check us out and book your tour today. Aveda Institute Winnipeg. Hair school the way it should be. At Super 8 Winnipeg West, we have your comfort in mind with free Wi-Fi and free daily Superstart breakfast. We also have guest laundry facilities, a state-of-the-art fitness center, and a jetted hot tub. Sleep well in a spacious guest room equipped with plush new bedding, a 50-inch flat-screen HD TV, microwave, mini refrigerator, and Keurig coffee maker. Or book a suite with a kitchen, ideal for extended stays. Super 8 Winnipeg West, located just inside the perimeter on Portage Avenue.
Welcome back here inside Bell MTS Iceplex, and we are joined alongside FaceTime with Aaron Wilgosh of the Portage Daily Graphic. Aaron, how you doing?
I'm doing good, guys. Thanks for having me. I got a busy night of hockey ahead. 2 Caps games and an Islanders game here in Portage tonight.
Well, there we go. We're going to start this off with a little high school action. The girls, the Saints, and the boys, the Trojans, What's going on with the season? Obviously in full swing right now for high school hockey. Just talk about both boys and girls so far on how it's working down there in Portage.
Yeah, I mean, the PCI Saints, it was supposed to be a rebuild year for them, but they're right in the middle of the pack, keeping up with a lot of the higher teams. They actually match well with everyone. They played the first place St. Mary's Flames the other day, actually only lost 2-0, keeping up with them basically the entire game. And St. Mary's has only lost one game all year. So these girls are actually pretty good. They're led by three sisters, the Schwaliks, one in grade 12, Kira Schwalik, and then two twins, Maddie and Paige. And these girls are unreal. Paige Schwalik leads the team with 25 points. All three were at the All-Star team. And they're just really hard to handle for other teams. And, I mean, it's great. The high school girls, they've just been putting it all out there, and hopefully they can make some noise in the playoffs.
Are they a line?
Kira, the eldest, is the defenseman. She's the captain of the team, and then they've actually split Paige and Maddie up this year just so that they can have more of a even distribution but for the scoring. But if they ever need a goal, they put them all on the ice and just watch them work.
Well, the
it's
Canucks
crazy.
don't split up the Sedins too often either, so we'll
No,
understand if they need
exactly.
a goal that they keep them on the same line.
I want to know how many times it's been Schwalik from Schwalik from Schwalik. And be like, yeah, and that's the thing. It's like, that's got to be impressive if you're writing a news report or if you got to announce that game. I mean, there's got to be some. The one thing that's not lacking from those three is chemistry, because they probably live, breathe, and die breakfast, lunch, dinner, and hockey. And, you know, they probably sit around Saturday nights watching Hockey Night in Canada back in the day, I'm sure.
Yeah, I mean, we've all watched the Sedins live on Hockey Night in Canada, like you said. And it's crazy, but like these twins, they've got it. They've got the same kind of thing. You watch them cycle down low. One of them manages to squeak out front, and the next thing you know, it's in the back of the net. And all three of them have speed. They all come from a hockey family, but their real passion is fast pitch, Manitoba fast pitch. That's what they all love.
So hockey by night or hockey by winter time and baseball by summertime?
Yeah, oh yeah. The Saints are actually 3-time provincial champions for high school fast pitch. So very dominant team out here in Portage.
And now the Trojans, who are the men's high school hockey team there, how are they looking?
They're on the exact opposite. They've got 3 wins this year. They're sitting at the bottom of the barrel basically in every stat in the league. But the thing is, they've got shades of brilliance. You know, they're one of those Jekyll and Hyde teams where if the boys decide they want to play hard one night, they're going to show up and they might stomp out a first-place team. But the problem is they can't put together 60 minutes. They're a 40-minute team, and if they can just put 60 together, it would be a completely different season.
Was there a big turnaround coming from last year with maybe a lot of seniors leaving, and was it maybe more looked at, like you said, how the girls were supposed to be in a rebuild year, or has it just been like an inconsistent and no one really expected them to be at the bottom, or were they anticipating maybe this with a lot of seniors leaving?
Well, they definitely were anticipating. It was something that was seen coming. Lucas Neufeld was their captain last year at grade 12. He won Defenseman of the Year. He was unbelievable on the back end for them. Just stopped everything and led the rush from the backside as well. They lost, I believe, about 9 players, so that is a big turnaround for high school hockey. Basically 2 full lines. So, I mean, you know, they're going to make the playoffs. Everyone gets in here, and maybe a Cinderella story. They can make it into the second round or third round even, again, if they can put that all together. They're a young team led by Cole Butler. He's a young player. He's actually been called up to the Midget Caps a few times and has made an impact there. So in a few years, I can see them being very good. But right now, I mean, enjoy the rest of the season and try and make some noise in the postseason.
Regular season wraps up when? When are these, because you mentioned all the teams get into the playoffs. When can they be looking forward to that?
Yeah, the Saints actually play their last game Thursday next week, so playoffs should get going in about 2 weeks, and the Trojans the same, I believe, 3 weeks. They're in the postseason.
Well, for a league where everyone makes the playoffs, I mean, the Trojans, although last place, it's a clean slate. It's a fresh start when playoffs. You just gotta win come playoff times, and then you're on to the next round.
Yeah, and the beautiful thing about that team is they've got a goaltender, Grayson Pache. This kid's facing 35, 40 shots a game, and his numbers look bad because he doesn't get as much support as he should. But if this kid stands on his head, again, like I said, anything can happen.
So there definitely could be a surprise or two for this men's team come playoff time. Like we said, 0-0 maybe kind of a rope-a-dope kind of thing maybe back in the day, but you never know. Like you said, this team is young, and they have lost a lot of veteran qualities, but the future looks bright for this men's team, and I think that's the most important thing you have to look at is saying you always have that 1 year of rebuild, and then you continue to build from that come the off season.
Yeah, and I asked the coach this actually after the last game. I asked him, how do you keep them motivated? How do you keep them positive in a season where you got 3 wins? And he says, it's them. They're having fun in the dressing room, and they're going out there and they want to compete. They know that they're at the bottom, but they still have that desire. Hockey players have that. You want to win. You want to go out there and compete. And he's just happy to see that from his kids every day at practice and every time they hit the rink for a game.
Switching over to the AAA girls, Central Plains. Sitting down near the bottom, 8-14, 1-3 is the record, 21 points. But they do have a back-to-back coming up this weekend. Today they're facing the Yellowhead Chiefs at home, and then on the road to take on the Westman Wildcats. What have you seen this year so far from the AAA girls?
It's been a weird year for them. I mean, they've got some great talent. They started the year winning 4 of 5 weekly awards. And they were off and running and competing with a lot of them, but then they ran into a little bit of a losing streak in December, and it sent them down. They lost that. They were right in the middle of the pack there. But they compete with everyone. The only team they seem to have a lot of trouble with is the Avros this year. They haven't been able to put a good game against the Avros. They seem to have their number. But it's tough. I mean, Ferdy Nelson is trying to make them compete 100% of the time, 100% effort, all the time, every period. And if they get that, much like the other teams we talked about, they'll be in the games. But it's just tough because they haven't had that scoring. It's been a couple of years now where they're having a little bit more of a scoring trouble, and the goaltending is hit or miss every night. It's hard to say that about goaltending, but if you're not getting the support from your defense on that first shot, it's hard to make any saves afterward.
Have you been able to speak to Coach Ferdy Nielsen there? I mean, how is he getting his team up and ready for all these games? Although they're looking like they're near the bottom, like you said, it's been a little bit of a weird year. How does he gear up the girls to go out and face a team like the Avros?
Shootout losses and 1-goal games. That's how. The girls are in it. They're competing hard. Like I said, they're not getting blown out. If you look through their scores, they're 1-goal games or 1-goal games with an empty net goal to make it 5-3, So they're in every single game, and I mean, they've got speed. They've got strength on the back end. Their captain, Chloe Snaith, she controls the play when she's out there, and you can actually see it against teams like the Pembina Valley Hawks, who are a transition team, who do very well turning the puck over and then capitalizing on it right away. The Caps will actually hold possession time in the zone for quite a long time and get those shots toward the net. It's the scoring. They just got to find that scoring touch to maybe get that extra push to propel them past teams like Westman and the Avros.
Well, maybe one person that hasn't had trouble finding scoring, Megan Ferg, 28 points in 25 games. What can you say about her?
Well, her dad's the assistant coach. I know him well, John Ferg. He's actually the president of the Central Plains organization. And she's just always played hockey. She's played with the boys. She's competed with the boys. I'm sure you put her on the PCI Trojans and she could probably lead the team in scoring. The kid's got wheels and she's got a really good shot. And I hate saying for a girl, but she can whip that puck. They all have those light flexes and they can just lean into them. And she uses it. And she's also not afraid to go into the corners. She also gets some help from Starbucks' Hallie Edwards and McGregor's Chloe Snaith, like I said, the captain. And then the two Megans, Megan Ferd and Megan Inman, they play on the same line. So they have a little bit of a connection there as well. And it translates into points on the scoreboard, obviously.
We're going to switch sports, if that's okay with you.
Sure,
we'll talk a little pigskin.
Switch it up, boys.
We got 8. Tell me what's going on with the Pigskin Classic next month. What's going on with the gentlemen that are heading down south to play a little football and represent Central Plains?
Okay, well, I was turned on to this from the Portage Pitbulls, an organization here in Portage La Prairie, a football organization. And Keto Pobla, a former Bomber, put together a travel team for football. He said there wasn't a travel team here in Manitoba, and it was something he had always thought about getting going. So he decided to get some help from Donald Burrell, who also coaches the PCI Trojans football team out here, and invited some Portage players to come out and try out for this travel team. The Trojans, or the Pitbulls rather, 8 of them have made this team now. The Manitoba Selects U15 team and U13 team. They went out to Saskatchewan earlier this month and played an exhibition game against the Saskatchewan Selects. And now in February, I believe it's the 21st, I don't have the exact dates on me, but they're going down to San Antonio, Texas for the Pigskin Classic. It's actually one of the biggest travel team football tournaments in the world, and it's the 6th annual one, and this is going to be Manitoba's first appearance at it. So Kito Pobla, the head coach, he's really looking forward to this, and I'm actually going to try and get in touch with him soon and put a little article together before the team heads down there.
So, so it's 8 players from the Portage Central Plains area, and is it all on, like, how many on the is it the 13 team and the 15 team both going?
Yeah, you know what? I'll actually let's pump their tires a little bit here. Caden and Kyler Banfield, Sean Green, Brock Miller, Jaden Schindel, and Colby Irwin are all on the U15 team, so that's 6 players. And then there's 2 on the U13 team, Leland Gabriel and Grayson Pratt. The funny thing about those 2 is Portage didn't have a U13 team. They had to drive from Portage all the way to Charleswood just to play football this season.
So talk about pumping tires, putting kilometers on those same tires, and doing a great job and actually making a travel team that now has the opportunity to play in Texas, which is fantastic.
Yeah, and like I said, they're just doing the classic fundraising right now, getting out there, selling some raffle tickets, trying to help fund that trip down to San Antonio, Texas, for a 3-day tournament. I mean, you're getting help from some amazing football players while you're there. Kito Pobla and Donald Burrell, 2 former Bombers, and there's another Bomber there with them. So they're getting some really good coaching and one-on-one time with these coaches that are going to help skill development along the way.
Well, you said you had a busy weekend coming up. AAA Midget boys, Central Plains Capitals, sitting currently in 9th right now. What can you tell us about that team?
They've got Southwest tonight. They're 4 back of Southwest, and a win here tonight would obviously get them closer to that 8th place playoff spot. They're a Jekyll and Hyde team. I mean, they can show up and get blown out some games, but then they can show up and take the first place Brandon Wheat Kings to a shootout at 5-5 last night, and the 3rd place Winnipeg Bruins to a shootout on Wednesday. So these teams show up, and they're beating the first place teams, or at least taking them all the way to a shootout. Yeah. And I mean, they've got some real good talent, and people have stepped up with a lot of injuries. They were missing so many players, playing with 12 players on the bench through December. It was a really, really short bench. Then they got Riley Funk back from the Terriers, and he has just been tearing it up. 36 points in 15 games played. 2.14 points per game right now. If he's not in the MVP talk, he definitely needs to be. And then they also got Logan Calder back, who is out with injury. Another draft pick for the MJ. He's going to be a good player. Immediately in his return, got 2 assists. So they're finally getting a full bench back, and going into the last stretch here with 6 games coming up, a win tonight over Southwest can really get things going in the right direction.
Yeah, so although a few points back, like you said, of that last playoff seed, what does, like you mentioned, last night, 6-5, a loss against Brandon, who was 34-3-0. 3 losses on the year. What does that say for a team that, if they do squeak into the playoffs, it got to give them boatloads of confidence going into that, even though facing the first place seed Brandon, that they can last the distance and take them all the way into a shootout?
Yeah, same kind of thing. They've got a goaltender that can stand on his head if he gets the support from the D-men in front of him, clearing that first or second shot. Riley Speisnickstrup, he's been known to go on runs. Last year, he went on a 9-game winning streak. This year, it's just been a little different because, like I said, those injuries really hurt during December. But with a full roster, I really hope they can make it into some postseason action because who knows, an upset is possible. Like I said, in their last 2 games, 1 and 3 all the way to a shootout, and it's just minor errors or minor little brain farts they'll have in the 3rd period that kind of cost them the game. So if they can get things going and really squeak into that final playoff spot, I know head coach Brad Janko is really looking forward to these last 6 games and showing the rest of the league what they're made of.
Well, we're joined here by Aaron Wilgosh of the Portage Daily Graphic. Aaron, I'm not sure what topic you can't cover, because whatever we throw at you, you seem to have a brilliant answer. But let's go to senior men's here in the Southeastern Manitoba Hockey League. The Islanders currently sitting in 5th place, just 3 points back of Morden for 4th. We touched upon the Southeastern Manitoba Hockey League in our first segment, but didn't get much towards the Portage team specifically. So that's where you come in. What can you tell us about the Islanders?
Well, they made it all the way to the championship last year, lost in Game 7. I mean, they're here in the middle of the pack, but the entire league is a little weird this year. I mean, Notre Dame just finally got on a run to climb out in front, and now everyone's still, within 8 points if you've got the standings in front of you. It's still a tight race. There isn't many games left here, but with everyone making the playoffs, I see Portage doing well. Mjhl is a great goaltender. He's struggled a little bit this year, but watch for him to get on a run here heading toward the postseason. He always does. And they're led by all basically former Portage Terriers. This team has a lot of former Portage Terriers. They're led by the Waldvogels, Tanner and Zach. Zach was actually part of the RBC Cup winning team here in Portage La Prairie a few years ago. So the talent is there. They did lose Anders Strom and another one of their leading scorers this year. That hurt. They haven't been able to put up the numbers. They're actually led by Zach Waldvogel with only 12 points. So I was actually watching earlier, and you guys were talking about the league leaders. Portage has nowhere near the top of the league leaders for points here, with Zach only with 12, and then, of course, the next two with 11 and 10. So, it's all about just playing a consistent game here and trying to find their form going into playoffs. And it starts with a win tonight. They get going at 8 p.m. at Stride Place.
All right, we did our Mjhl report last segment right before we brought you on. Portage Terriers 11 points behind Steinbach. About a month and a half left in the season. Do they make a late push here, the defending champs? Can they catch the first-place team before playoffs to get that home ice advantage all the way through?
I don't know if they want to. They won it last year, finishing 5th.
Yep.
So, I mean, who knows? This team, they keep surprising everyone, even me, and I've been doing the play-by-play for over 2 years now. And, I mean, it's shocking what the coaching staff does for these guys. I don't know how they keep them so locked in on their goal, and as soon as new players come in, they just drill the Portage Terrier mentality into them. It's a lifestyle out here, and it's going to be an amazing playoff run again. Steinbach, always a powerhouse, and I just hope it's a Steinbach-Portage final again to make it 5 out of the last 6 years.
Yeah, I called a game here for Portage against the Blues. I mean, how fun is it watching guys like Jeremy Leipzig and Mackenzie Dwyer off the back end? I mean, night in and night out, just showing how much talent they have.
Yeah, well, it's unfortunate Chase Brakel's out of the lineup right now because when he's out there with Jeremy Leipzig, those two and James McIsaac, they're young, they're fast, and it almost makes you want to pull your hair out. I don't have any because they pass the puck so much that if they would just shoot 1 or 2 more times, I'm sure they would all have way more points and they would have a lot more blowouts. But they're just so fancy, and sometimes you're just left starstruck watching these boys play. And I'm just happy I get to do it for a living.
Any word from Joey Moffett? You're the second in the league for rookie scoring and leading the Portage out of rookies. What's he been able to do in his first year?
He seems like he's got it all. He's got hands. He can deflect the puck in front. He's not afraid to throw body in the corner, and he's got a shot that can rival the best in the league. Last year, he was number 1 for the Caps in scoring as a 15-year-old. In Midget AAA, and now he's there 16. And I know you were talking about the other rookie, but he's 18 years old. Yeah. Joey Moffett just turned 17 here. This is a young kid, and he's got a bright career, if not in the MJ, maybe even the WHL at some point.
Chase Brakel, you mentioned him, and I'm having a bit of a brain fart here. I know that did he get accepted or traded to a school in the States, I believe? Coming up next year?
Yes, he did sign on with a school this year. I do not have it off the top of my head.
Neither do I.
But head to PortageDailyGraphic.com.
Yes,
I guarantee you find it there.
There we go. Aaron, honestly, like I said, I'm not sure there was a topic that you couldn't cover. Anything else you want to hit upon before we say goodbye until next time?
High school ball, the PCI Saints, the varsity team, they're 5-1. Watch for them. They'll make some noise heading into the Winnipeg West Athletic Conference playoffs. We can end it on that.
There you go, Aaron Wilgosh from the Portage Daily Graphic. Thank you so much, man.
Thanks, boys. Have a good one.
We'll be right back with our AAA report for boys and girls here at the Manitoba Sports Desk along the Manitoba Sports Network.
Hi, I'm Cassandra Curia with Fair Fitness. We're located in Ildershay, Manitoba. We do everything from personal training, group training classes, yoga and flexible steel. We also focus on young athletes. We do not only just the strength and conditioning, but the agility, power, rotational control and strength, and flexibility, stability, and mobility is always super important. You can find us at fairmfitness.ca and come check us out.
Are you looking for a career in the salon industry? Check out Aveda Institute Winnipeg in the Exchange. What sets us apart is our student mentorship program, 95% placement rate after graduation, real-world salon experience, and network of 7,000 salons and spas. You will learn creative cut and coloring, latest trends and techniques, social media marketing, fashion shows, photo shoots, and more. Now accepting applications for 2018, so check us out and book your tour today. Aveda Institute Winnipeg. Hair school the way it should be.
Hi, I'm Rick Funk from Funk's Toyota. Our family has been in the automotive business for over 45 years. That's 45 plus years of looking after customers. We have a top worldwide recognized product that we are proud to be a partner with Toyota Canada. Every new and used vehicle is negotiable when it comes to purchasing your vehicle here at Funk's Toyota. Our staff of many years is very knowledgeable and will help you, not force you with your buying decision. There are no hidden fees and no pressure tactics. Not only that, we promise what we deliver and have one of the best used vehicle warranties in the business. Our staff love to serve and you will feel like family after your first visit. We are not perfect, but we love to please here at Funk's Toyota. For those of you that have experienced our Funk's Toyota family way, please share it with others and like us and share us on Facebook. We are proud to be a sponsor of the Manitoba Amateur Sports. Visit us online at www.funks.toyota.ca.
At Super 8 Winnipeg West, we have your comfort in mind with free Wi-Fi and free daily Superstart breakfast. We also have guest laundry facilities, a state-of-the-art fitness center, and a jetted hot tub. Sleep well in a spacious guest room equipped with plush new bedding, a 50-inch flat-screen HD TV, microwave, mini refrigerator, and Keurig coffee maker. Or book a suite with a kitchen, ideal for extended stays. Super 8 Winnipeg West, located just inside the perimeter on Portage Avenue.
Welcome back inside Bell MTS Iceplex. Last segment here on the inaugural Manitoba Sports Desk. Rory McGoran, Theo Tutcluck with you. The Manitoba Sports Desk is brought to you by Funk's Toyota. And, of course, we would like to also thank Get Empowered, our official communications provider for cell phones, iPads, and more. Call your authorized TELUS dealer or visit getempowered.ca. So, we switch it to a league that we're very familiar with here, the AAA Manitoba Midget Hockey League. We'll start with the girls first. Friday night's games, 2 games. Westman Wildcats defeated Central Plains 4-0. We had Aaron Wilgosh on the previous segment here on the Sports Desk. Fill us in everything Central Plains. Following that game, Pembina Valley Hawks defeated Interlake 4-1. 3 points for Hannah Petrie, 2 goals and an assist. So right now, Winnipeg Avros 21-5 if you include the overtime wins is the way it's drawn out on their schedule. 42 points for the league leading Winnipeg Avros.
The Avros are definitely leading, obviously they're leading the league, but they're also leading by example with the play on the ice. They're doing great work. Winning in overtime is the key stat that I want to touch on. I mean, they have had games go to overtime more than any, and they've won 6 of them.
Yeah, haven't lost yet in overtime.
I think they're 6-0 in overtime. So, I mean, that's gaining those extra 6 points. And if you think if they've lost any of those games, their point number would not be as great, of course. Thanks, John Madden. But at the same time, they're doing great things to make sure they're continually in the game all the time. And when you have 26 games played and you've been 21 wins, you're doing something that a lot of other teams aren't doing. That's winning, but that's also knowing how to just stay in the game to give yourself that chance to win.
And to me, it's a team effort from the Winnipeg Avros. If you look at the point leaders in the AAA Women's Hockey League here in Manitoba, the Midget Manitoba Hockey League for the girls, 1 out of the top, I believe it's 8, is from Winnipeg. Meanwhile, 3 are from Pembina Valley, 3 are from Central Plains, only 1, 5th overall, Taylor Coward, 24 points in 26 games, is the only one from the Avros. So that just is a testament to how much of a team, well-rounded, 4-line hockey that they play.
And if they're able to roll 4 lines like we said, Rory, everybody's well-rested. Everybody's into the game. You're not having anybody not into it and sitting on the bench for too long of a time. They're a team that can challenge you on the penalty kill. They take advantage of the power play with great stats in both of them. And like you said, there's not just one player you have to focus on. And when you have a team like that, it just shows how great of a coaching staff they have accompanying and allowing each female player to play to their strengths.
Well, second place in the league, Pembina Valley Hawks, although 9 points back of the Avros, 1-2 in the league. Got a great tandem there in Pembina Valley. Sage McElroy Scott and Mackenzie McCallum, both well over a point per game. 35 points for Sage, 32 points for Mackenzie. So the Pembina Valley Hawks, although are 9 points back of the Avros, are led by those 2 players, and it shows up on the stat sheet, and it shows up being second place in the league.
It does, and they're a team, led by those 2 great players that really just drive the puck forward, and they move. And the great thing about them is their puck possession. And if they're able to maintain that, second place is certainly not where they'd like to be in first place. But second place, they're leading that pack, and there's 3 teams with them. I mean, Westman, Yellowhead, and Eastman are 3 and 4 points behind them respectively. So, I mean, they certainly cannot slouch to end the season. They want to maintain that second spot so that they don't have to play the Avros come the first round or second round.
AAA girls action this weekend if you're looking for something to do. Well, actually, it might be a little bit too late now. Yellowhead Chiefs, Central Plains are on the way already. 3:30, that game started in Portage. Pembina Valley Hawks versus Westman Wildcats also today. That's at 7:30. Westman Wildcats will play host to Pembina Valley Hawks. Then switching over to tomorrow, Interlake Lightning will go on the road over to Eastman Selects. That's at 11:55 tomorrow morning. Central Plains will play back-to-back again against the Westman Wildcats. This time, Westman playing host, and Yellowhead Chiefs, will be in Pembina Valley taking on the Hawks. That's going to do our AAA girls wrap-up. Over to the Midget boys for Friday's game. Brandon defeated Central Plains, just like Aaron was mentioning, 6-5 in a shootout. Dylan Halliday and Carter Sawchuk both had 3 points there for Brandon. Shootout went to the 7th round without a single player scoring. So it took the 14th shooter, 7 for each team, which was Carter Sawchuk. Again, finally found the back of the net. The first one out of the 14th skaters in the shootout to find the back of the net. Give Brandon the W. Jumps 2 points up on the Wild. They were tied before that one for first place in the league. Winnipeg, Brandon right there, 1-2. 70 points Brandon, 68 Winnipeg. Winnipeg was also in action last night. They defeated Norman North Stars 15-0.
Yeah, that's right, 15-0. It wasn't a football game. It was a hockey game. Unfortunately for Norman, they sit at the bottom of the league with a complete reversal of record compared to the Winnipeg Wild. Just all you can say for those boys is, keep your hearts up, keep your spirits alive. You played a really great team in the Wild. 15-0 is a hard one to swallow. I'll take that. But you know what? For the Winnipeg Wild, they do not want to let their foot off the gas pedal with any opponent. I mean, they're sitting neck and neck with Brandon, that top spot. Yep. And we all know what that top spot means in AAA midget hockey. You know, home ice advantage, giving the opportunity. If you have to travel to Brandon, that's a travel you don't want to make one extra time if you're going to go 7 games.
Yeah, and you want to know a couple stats from that 15-0? Mitchell Joss, 6 points, 4 goals, 2 assists for Mitchell Joss of the Winnipeg Wild. Caden Bryant, Eric Fox, Kyle Bettens all had 4 points.
Yeah, you know what? Leading with Joss, I mean, the rest of the guys just followed up playing best supporting actors. And you know what?
It's tough to be the best actor, the lead man, when a guy gets 4 goals and 2 assists.
And with that team, I mean, anybody could be the lead. I mean, Bettens is there, Joss is there. You mentioned a couple others. I mean, the Winnipeg Wild have the best offense, and they have one of the best defenses. And when their offense is flying, I mean, expect any one of those handful of guys to lead this team with 4 or 5 points a night.
Yeah, you very well might be looking in late March, I believe it is, when playoffs start early March, late February. But late March, when it's all said and done, you might be looking at a Brandon Wheat Kings Winnipeg Wild finals, which is, I mean, all okay in my books by the way these two teams play.
Absolutely. And, you know, when you have a great regular season with 2 great records like that, Roy, you're expected to be in the finals. You would expect nothing less than to be in that final series for the AAA Midget Championship. Having that said, though, it's a game of hockey. And you could get a hot team coming just at the end of the regular season. You could hit a couple of hot goaltenders. You could get an injury that could take out 2 or 3 of your players. I mean, all is fair in the game of hockey. You just have to make sure that you're rolling on all cylinders and you've got your best foot forward come playoff time throughout playoffs.
Nolan Ritchie of the Brandon Wheat Kings leads the league in both points and goals. He's got 33 goals on the year. That's 1 ahead of Zachary Falk of the Wild, who has 32. Nolan Ritchie also leads in points with 68. That's 4 ahead of his teammate in Brett Paddock. So 1-2 go to the Brandon Wheat Kings for points. Third place is to Kyle Bettens. Of course, we mentioned him on our broadcast here on the Manitoba Sports Network when we call the Winnipeg Wild games. Kyle Bettens has side, has speed, has everything. But it's 1-2 right now for the Brandon Wheat Kings.
You mentioned Ritchie, you mentioned Paddock. The key thing with Ritchie is you look at his stats. He's got 30 points on the power play, and right behind him is his counterpart, Brett Paddock, with also 30 points. So, I mean, you know, Ritchie's got 13 and 17 respectively. Paddock 7 and 23. The bottom line is those two are like a 1-2 tandem when they're an extra man on the ice. And Kyle Bettens, I mean, he's got the size, he's got the speed, and we've mentioned the fact that teams have always been making sure that he's always marked 1 or 2 players. He's kind of that QB, got a spy on him all the time. And Kyle Bettens fights through it game in and game out, and it shows for his point production. Not so much on the power play, but we've always talked about the Wild not having the greatest of power plays. I think they were 10th in the league after last week's boutings. So, I mean, Winnipeg does it with the 5-on-5, the 4-on-4, and Brandon does it on the power play. So it could be the tale of 2 different styles of hockey come finals at the end of March, April.
Well, a full slate of games today and tomorrow. Kenora into Pembina Valley. Southwest is into Central Plains. Parkland's into Interlake. Norman's going to play host to the Winnipeg Wild. Yellowhead playing host to the Winnipeg Thrashers. And the new team of the year, the Bruins, who are right there in third place with 21 wins, 5 losses, will head into Eastman. That's all today. Looking ahead to tomorrow to wrap up the weekend here in the AAA Manitoba Midget Hockey League. Kenora will travel to Pembina Valley to take on the Hawks. Parkland will come to Winnipeg to play the Bruins. Eastman will travel to Interlake. Brandon and Yellowhead and the Winnipeg Thrashers into Southwest. Just once again, we want to thank Get Empowered, our official communications provider for cell phones, iPads, and more. Contact your authorized TELUS dealer today, getempowered.ca. That'll pretty much do it for our sports desk coming up on the Manitoba Sports Network. I mean, loads of action here, starting with February 3rd. MJHL action. Pistons, Blues. Winnipeg Blues are going to play host to the league-leading Steinbach Pistons. That's one to come here for. If you can make it here, definitely watch along the Manitoba Sports Network.
That should be our game of the week. I think it is our game of the week. And you look at 2 great teams. I mean, one fighting for that position to get into playoffs or get a better position in playoffs, and the other one leading the league in almost every stat. I mean, you're going to see not a trifecta, but a quadfecta of phenomenal talent on the Pistons side, and you're going to see some great goal scoring for the Blues. Hopefully they can match it up And, you know, we got a great game slated for Saturday night. Looking forward to it.
February 11th, AAA action. We're going to get another first-place team as the Brandon Wheat Kings will play host to the new team. We've seen them once or twice before, the Winnipeg Bruins.
The Bruins are that team that surprised you because they're not a team that's very big. I think we looked at them, and there's got 2 or 3 players, one of them being injured, that are 6 feet, and that's it. Everybody's in the 5'8" to 5'11" group. Their team is speedy. They're fast. They get under your skin. You know, the little twist, the Claude Lemieux kind of thing. You know, you twist with them kind of thing. And as for the Brandon Wheat Kings, maybe they're a team that's just going to come in here and say, you know what, we're not going to take any no-nonsense. We're going to come in here, get the W. We're going to get on a bus, grab a meal, go home.
And then stay tuned for future action along our network here. Bantam AAA Provincials. We'll have all the action from that. The AAA Midget Playoffs will also be on this network. We will follow intently to the Brandon Wheat Kings and the Winnipeg Wild, which is not a bad thing since they're 1-2 in the league.
And you know what? It's great hockey. If you ever have a chance to watch these two young teams, I mean, everything about them is professional. And then you expect that not out of 17-year-olds. I mean, these players are not only doing great on the ice, they're doing great off the ice. They are getting looked at by Division I, Division III schools, looking at CIS schools and the WHL. So if you want to see some great young talent on the ice, look no further than to the AAA midgets between the Wheat Kings, the Wild, the Bruins. Great hockey action, and these teams are going to be bringing it because it's almost playoff time.
Yeah, single A, double A, high school, provincials also on our network. I think that's just about going to do it for us. Rory McGowan, Theo Tutchgluck, you want to add anything? First one inaugural. I mean, the floor is yours, man.
You know what? The first inaugural, went a little bit longer. Hope you guys enjoyed it. I'd like to thank Funk's Toyota as well for helping us out today. And we're going to do this again next Saturday, too. So, hey, you know what? If you liked it, guess what? We're going to do it again. And we'll probably bring some more goodness to the greatness.
More goodness to the greatness. I don't know if that's trademarked, but it might be now. Rory McGowan and Theo Tutchgluck, thank you so much for joining us at the Manitoba Sports Desk, of course, along the Manitoba Sports Network.
Are you looking for a career in the salon industry? Check out Aveda Institute Winnipeg in the Exchange. What sets us apart is our student mentorship program, 95% placement rate after graduation, real-world salon experience, and network of 7,000 salons and spas. You will learn creative cut and coloring, latest trends and techniques, social media marketing, fashion shows, photo shoots, and more. Now accepting applications for 2018, so check us out and book your tour today. Aveda Institute Winnipeg. Hair school the way it should be. At Super 8 Winnipeg West, we have your comfort in mind with free Wi-Fi and free daily Superstart breakfast. We also have guest laundry facilities, a state-of-the-art fitness center, and a jetted hot tub. Sleep well in a spacious guest room equipped with plush new bedding, a 50-inch flat-screen HD TV, microwave, mini refrigerator, and Keurig coffee maker. Or book a suite with a kitchen, ideal for extended stays. Super 8 Winnipeg West, located just inside the perimeter on Portage Avenue.
Hi, I'm Rick Funk from Funk's Toyota. Our family has been in the automotive business for over 45 years. That's 45 plus years of looking after customers. We have a top worldwide recognized product that we are proud to be a partner with Toyota Canada. Every new and used vehicle is negotiable when it comes to purchasing your vehicle here at Funk's Toyota. Our staff of many years is very knowledgeable and will help you, not force you with your buying decision. There are no hidden fees and no pressure tactics. Not only that, we promise what we deliver and have one of the best used vehicle warranties in the business. Our staff love to serve and you will feel like family after your first visit. We are not perfect, but we love to please here at Funk's Toyota. For those of you that have experienced our Funk's Toyota family way, please share it with others and like us and share us on Facebook. We are proud to be a sponsor of the Manitoba Amateur Sports. Visit us online at www.funks.toyota.ca.